All right, this is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. Actually, I'm starting the other broadcast now, or recording with the P1000. This is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth, talking about the storm warning. There's a storm approaching, and are you ready for it? And what will that look like? We have weather wars. It's technology that energizes the atmosphere and creates storms that cause flooding, tornadoes, and drought too as well. We get droughts also. I wanted to show you the sea level liquid mirror that this is. Right on the other side of the Prince Resort there is the open ocean. I'll be in a fortified concrete structure later on today. I'll lose the broadcast if I get into the elevator or stairwell, so I can't keep it continuous there. I will be taking us out to the ocean as well. This is the Russell Burgess Coastal Preserve, and I wanted to show you the calm before the storm. Yeah, oh yeah. That's part of what we've got going on here. I encourage people to hashtag my name. Not easy to spell. That's why I make it available in a hyperlink. Let me, there we go. And you can you might be able to put it on a post that I'm not able to, or on a comment, or YouTube Truth. It's kind of challenging because there's a lot of censorship going on. I wanted to show you the circulation here of there's two more culverts down below. I'll step on down there. I've got video of the whirlpool spinning, another one right next to this one. Okay. Now, one of the reasons why I talk quite a bit about the biblical cosmology is because it helps us understand a little bit more of what we're looking at. There's a structure up above the earth, a firmament. We don't have satellites as we're told. Satellites would be code word for devices that bounce signals off of the firmament. And I've got documentaries that expose that. If they're still up, and if the channel associated with it is still up. That's one of the issues. Channels get taken down. People get taken out. So they can't expose the reality. Some are left up. Maybe they find me entertaining. I don't know. The artificial intelligence is powerful. It tracks, traces, databases, and threat assesses everybody. Everybody, and can factor in options that are beyond what we would normally consider, because it's beyond human intelligence. And yet, God is all-knowing. The creator of the world we live in is all-knowing and all-powerful. That exceeds artificial intelligence by a massive amount. That's why I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth at all. So the sun is approaching, 6:24 today, Eastern Standard Time here in the North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina area. The ripples that we can see are fish moving. There's a lot of fish in here. The coastal preserve that this is filled up by the open ocean, and I'm going to take us on out there. I just wanted to start out here and show you with the increase in ambient lighting, what I can show you here as the tide is moving up. This is a sea level liquid mirror. So all the reflections will change based on the elevation of the mirror. If you move a mirror just a little bit, it changes the reflection. That's what's going to happen. That's what's happening continually here. I can clearly see rain falling all around us here, or all around me. Where you are, it might be dry. Might be high and dry. I don't know. So when people are coming down the street here, they'll have an opportunity to see this and me and have curiosity, potentially. Can take a picture of that, screenshot. Good to see y'all. Recently liked a bunch of videos that are dealing with storms, time lapse, and lightning strikes. Pretty amazing videography that people have put together. Some of the clues are all around us of the world that we live in. To look at a time lapse of a tornado developing, a massive storm, the lightning, all of that is pretty amazing. And understanding that we live on a stationary earth with a structure up above us, separate the firmament, separating the waters from above from the waters below. That's helpful to know. Look at the mirror that is. It's not science fiction. That's not made up. All the puddles, all the water, all the clues, all around. That's why I showed urban displays of water, because even though the physics and properties of water applied here at the ocean are a little bit different, in that this is the elevation that covers, or this is the level, the natural level that covers the face of the stationary earth. That's how that works. So even when we construct massive buildings or little houses, levels are used. Liquid levels are involved in all of that. The perfect mirrored reflections are clues. All of our interaction with water indicates the impossibility of the science fiction that the globe is. So I've got tens of thousands of hours invested in recording and sharing, and then other talented videographers and photographers have created documentaries as well, explaining these matters. There, look at the mirror that is. We had storm roll through, only 10% chance of rain. However, if that's happening where you are, and it's like 100% there, right? The storm that's approaching, I'm also talking about, is a metaphorical storm of the end of life. It's the big equalizer. It doesn't matter how many subs you have, merch you move, money in your bank account, letters around your name, stuff that you own, how many houses, are you a billionaire, trillionaire? It doesn't really matter in the scheme of eternity, because what will it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul? So death is the big equalizer. It's something that we're all going to face at some point in time. We're all eternal beings having a temporary human experience. I cover that, talk about it at length. So I'm going to take us right on out to the Point. That's where this is called, the Point in Cherry Grove, also known as North Myrtle Beach. I've got somebody following me, so I need to let them on by. So I interact with people all over the world from this location, and I meet them face to face out here, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all that worldwide. I tweet to Elon Musk about his science fiction. I've called him out as a liar. Elon Musk lies, NASA lies. I've lied. I'm just telling the truth right now. Isn't that special? It's the way it should be. We're supposed to tell the truth. I'm exposing the global lie. Water doesn't stick to those. A spinning ball, a stationary ball, water doesn't stick to an external shape. All right. The automatic light just turned off. Sensor in there. The clues are all around us. The water is a big clue. Even the water we shower with, or if we relieve ourselves in the great outdoors, that all works too. The water seeks level. We live on a stationary level Earth. Keep in mind there would be no level anywhere on an Earth that was moving. This particular unit here has a lot of church retreat. There's just a symphony of humanity that comes out to the beach area here. I just love it. A couple days ago, I had a 1-hour recording with the YouTube app, and I couldn't get it to upload, so I did have it recorded with the P1000. I talk about the camera because it's a powerful weapon of mass instruction. It's a big deal. There's like a 2% moon this morning, and then it'll be a 0% moon at the moon set. We won't see a 2% moon with it as gray as it is right now. No way. I recognize a lot of familiar faces up here. We've got the regulars and then the guests. It's a beautiful liquid mirror is what we're looking at. So the high tide line is way up here. I'm gonna drop my shoes. You can see the heavy downpour of rain that happened here. So one of the other things that people will see is the YouTube Truth shirt and sticker. If I ran out of stickers, people could take a picture of the sticker on my shirt if they wanted to. What I'm going to do here too is head on out into the water a little bit. that's how I would get the reflections of the buildings up there. Notice how this all opens up? I had a lovely lady from India say, "Are you seeing what we're seeing?" I said, "Oh no," because I'm seeing it from here. We all have our own unique perspective in this world, the way that we see things, and then we have an opportunity to share that with people we care to. So at the Flat Earth Conference, Dylan and I talked for a bit. I met a lot of fascinating people in Denver. And I mentioned that I'm outing the Santa Claus, the whole Santa Claus lie, and the New World Order. I'm basically outing the whole corrupt system, the beast system of control of this world. And I'll just keep on doing that as long as I can. And that sent me down a journey to find out a little bit more of what was going on in this world. Did they have a cure for cancer? Well, yeah. Well, for a long time, and they have the cause of cancer for a long time. One of the reasons to expose the deeds of darkness, as Ephesians 5 talks about, is because there's a battle going on that very few people realize the significance of, or the amount of collaboration that's going on. It's more than greedy people doing wicked things. It's the enemy of the souls of humanity, God's arch enemy, Satan. Now, God created Satan, and he could have not created him. However, he did. He did, and we all have a perspective on that. I'm just so grateful to actually be a child of God that's born again at this point in the human experience, because I was created for such a time as this, to be able to leverage digital worldwide communications to expose the reality of the world we live in. And not only was I fortunate to be born at such a time as this, so are you, because the tools and resources are available to explore and, I believe, find the truth. So one of the things that I'm going to do is zoom in on the reflections up in front. I won't be able to see those reflections of those trees when I get up to where that man is that I'm showing the reflection of. It's all based on perspective and vantage point. So even if the people don't come up and talk to me and ask me what I'm about, what I'm doing, many of them go to my channel because they see my shirt. Some people have a hard time finding it. That's intentionally. It's being hidden somewhat. Shadow banning is one of the terms used for it. I could put more metadata in my thumbnails. That might help the censorship. I don't want to be censored. I certainly don't want to be silenced. Today we've got almost a 5-foot tide this morning. We've got a diurnal tide here, high and low twice a day. Oh, there's a little crab. I just saw him. I don't know if he'll stick his little eyeballs back up here. Ghost crabs, they call them. They can feel the vibration and hear me talking right now, I'm sure. The high tide line, that's what they do. They dig holes, and this area is teeming with wildlife. Okay, so watch the reflection in the middle of the view. Notice how it lightens up. Do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? Well, that depends on the temperature. That temperature variant drives the whole hydrologic cycle of the world. Evaporation, condensation, precipitation in all its forms: rain, snow, sleet, fog, hail, all of that. Freezing rain. What would you do without electricity? What would you do without electricity if it were 110 below wind chill outside? You couldn't get any more fuel to put in the gas tank of your vehicle. And none of the climate control systems in your house work, and you don't have a way to have a safe fire in your house. What would you do? What would you do? So this past winter, we did have 110 below wind chill factor, and artificial intelligence can interrupt the energy generation, the power generation and distribution around the world selectively, wherever, whenever God allows it. Now, keep in mind, God is still in charge. He's still sovereign. Some people will say, well, Satan can't control the weather. Well, God has to allow it. Look at what God allows. Just think about that. Put on your analytical, critical thinking. There's nothing wrong with analysis. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in on those trees I talked about and show how they appear to be slanted. Well, the trees aren't, but the sand is. So I'm very capable at recognizing when the reflections are right where they would be if the water is flat and level. Been doing it for years. You can do it too. You can check it out if you want. There's a bunch of turtle rescue people. They've got the shirts on over there on Wade's Island. I called to have a rescue done. 2 young men from Minnesota almost drowned at the point here a couple years ago. I've got it on video. I never posted it. I was on the phone watching them drown. I was on the phone with the emergency services. I didn't think they were going to make it. And I requested that they send the Sea-Doo out, the personal watercraft, and as helpful as that can be for certain circumstances, a surfboard on the top of a four-wheeler with a capable rescue person can be deployed quicker than that can. That's actually what saved their life. The rescue board, it's not a conventional surfboard, it's much bigger, and the rescuer puts the board in between them and the person they're rescuing, so they are protected and can pull them up onto it and save their life. I've been involved in a lot of saved lives over my lifetime. We all have been involved in other people's lives. How will that look? Can we enjoy the journey? I know I do. In the midst of some real challenges. So I'm wrapping up the first P1000 recording. I'm going to activate another one really soon. I go live like this to put it all together so that you can have a surround sound recording of it. I thought I was born again in 1982 until I actually was in 2014. The change in me is so significant that I wanted other people to know about it. That I did in fact repent, cried, confessed Jesus as Lord, was fully immersed. I wasn't born again yet. That's disturbing for a lot of the modern expressions of supposed Christianity, because there's an easy believism that's not biblical. And so I looked for the reason why that was. I had to go all the way to the top. Found out that God had a different plan for my life. He wanted me to be able to reach out in a really special way. Here I am. Thanks for watching. I'm going to keep the live broadcast going and start another P1000 recording. Okay, this is part 2 of the sunrise today. I'm at the point in Cherry Grove, South Carolina. Job 37 proclaims that the sun is in the midst of the clouds. I like that. I love that. I've had the opportunity to capture that. We can see the high tide line, families out walking, singles, all kinds of people from all different walks of life, all different stages of life. I've been given a love for the truth, regardless of what others think about it, even what I think about it. It's not, the truth isn't determined by popular opinion, popularity. It's not what I necessarily want to believe. What happens is, when I was born again, I was given a love for the truth and the Holy Spirit of the Creator of this world. And when that happened, I was given a passion to expose the reality of the world that we live in. There's the beautiful reflection of the trees, clouds, all of that, just gorgeous. I was struck by lightning out here. How about that? Isn't that special? I put a lot of light, 5 Vietnamese surf fishermen right out in this area. You can see it. You can hashtag struck by lightning. There was a storm that rolled in on this area, and when I came out that day to record, it wasn't storming, and I was on a motorcycle, so I had my umbrella and all my stuff protected from the storm. But I was standing barefoot on wet sand, and the lightning was all around us, and it was a test. Now, before I was born again, I would have thought, well, God wanted to see what I would do. And the new me, the new perspective, was that He already knew that. I was aware that He already knew what I would do. He wanted me to see what I would do, when I believed He wanted me to keep on recording. That's why I did that. So there's a massive difference in perspective on that, because it means that I trust Him. I trust Him with my life, and He had given me an opportunity to see that for myself. Is as important as what we believe is, what I believe affects me way more than what you believe affects me. In other words, you may not like this. You may not like me or what I'm about. That's unfortunate for you, because I'm passionate about exposing the reality of the world that we live in. One of the tools that I've used is to leverage the hashtags and actually create videos that coincide with the hashtag, what I'm talking about. So when I talk about artificial intelligence, it's machine learning thinking machines that are writing their own programming, their own software, and manipulating the human beings all around the world to participate in assembling that system of control. When we were anticipating Y2K, a whole bunch of technology was automated for power distribution and computer systems. How special, how convenient. Yeah, we didn't have the power outages that we were scared into believing might occur. What ended up happening was we actually automated much of the system that is all around us right now. How about that? I've recorded water spouts out here too, by the way. You can see the rain coming down in the middle of the view there. So there are storms all around us. It just turned out to be really, really beautiful. The sun is local, meaning it's close by, and there is mystery with it. I talked about this on the earlier recording. A lot of times people with a lot of digits in their Monopoly Money bank account and letters around their name and trophy partners and celebrity status and subscribers and all of that, they might think themselves very well, got a good bead on things. Well, pride is a powerful catalyst for deception. That being said, we don't know what we don't know, myself included. I'm not claiming to know it all. I just know who does, and He lives in and through me. So I'm a new creature in Christ, born again in 2014, as best I can tell, on Reformation Day, also celebrated by the Druids, Satanists, Luciferians. Some of them actually offer up human sacrifice, drink their blood, that type of thing. Pedivores actually kill and eat children. That's disturbing. Yeah. Well, I'm telling on them, show and tell. So I was born again, as best I can tell then, 2014. Reformation Day was a very important event, that whole commemorating the Reformation, the protesting the corruption of the Catholic Church. I'm not Catholic. I used to be. I used to be dead. I was a dead man walking. Now I'm not. Now I'm alive spiritually. I've got time lapse of out here. It took me many hours to get it. You can see it if you like. Right now there's 2,700 videos on my liked video playlist. I've produced over half of them. Because it's not just exposing the reality of this, it's the proclamation of, hey, you can give me a call if you want. My phone number is 1-843-504-1776. If you want a sticker like that, you can send a self-addressed stamped envelope to 169 Cloverleaf Drive, Longs, South Carolina, 29568. And yes, I realize that's personal information. Of course. It's because I'm not afraid. I'm showing evidence of that, not being afraid. That's one of the reasons why I do it. There's a sense of fellowship and camaraderie that happens with courageous individuals that are willing to go into the storm and say, hey, you need to know, or at least I want you to know. I want you to know what's really going on. That's why I do this, because people's eternity is hanging in the balance. Now, to be clear, as a being born again, he changed me so much, so I understand that all of his children will absolutely be born again, regardless of the corruption of, it's not gonna, okay, so I believe in God's sovereignty, meaning He's in charge of everything. So nothing is going to happen in this world that he doesn't directly cause or allow. That is a bit disturbing, because there's disturbing events happening all around us. I trust that God knows what he's doing. So in my updated list of videos, wow, please go and check it out. Like videos showing time lapse of talented storm chasers and more. Showing some of the celestial mechanics. For those of you who like to use the word celestial mechanics, I'm talking about the sun, moon, and stars moving above the stationary Earth. This is a beach less traveled. This is a time less traveled. Thinner people, active people, not a lot of beach chairs out, not much beer getting drunk right now, not a lot of people hooking up necessarily. All that happens at clubs, and it happens all over the face of this, where people are self-indulgent, wanting to find a way to make it work for them, doing their own thing. I had enough of my own thing. Now I just want to do what I'm created to do, and wow, I love it. I was on a dopamine blocker because I was diagnosed with bipolar. Survived a suicide attempt in 2005. I was suicidal and homicidal. How about that? They don't mention that on the ads. Yeah, I'm off of the meds now. The chemical straitjacket's off. Loving life, feeling good. I even do my own hair with the Flowbee. It's a pretty cool thing. Vacuum cleaner attached, precision airflow cutting device. Hook it up to a vacuum. Who's going to cut my hair at 2 in the morning? Me. I can do that. Or whenever I want. My wife Joni's a hairstylist. She's an excellent stylist. Worked in California, did celebrities too. Just got a little complicated in more areas than that. So I've been given a passion for the truth, exposing it, walking in truth, obeying God. One of the reasons I hashtag my name is so you can see my Facebook, if you care to. I'm the #1 Robert Forsch hashtag in the world. There's some other Robert Forsches, of course. Just nothing quite like this going on. We've got a photo album with thousands of photos showing the beauty and majesty of creation. So, like, one of the things I'm going to do right now is zoom in on the crepuscular rays of the sun shooting through the clouds, clearly indicating that, wow, that sun is local. Yeah, it is, just as Job 37 says. Otherwise, it would be behind all of those clouds. Hello. Put your thinking caps on. Think about how it would look if the sun were almost 93 million miles away. It'd be shooting over all that stuff, all those clouds. Well, it's not. It's not. It's right there. The moon is about the same size. No, it's not. It's not 400 times closer than the 1.5 million Earth-sized sun. And it's all ridiculous. The Earth isn't moving. That means the self-appointed scientific priests, the experts that have enthroned themselves in a godless religion, are telling us that we're spinning, wobbling, and gyrating. Wobbling. I like gyrating better. I'm making fun of them. I'm mocking them. They're mocking us, people that are willing to tell the truth, even though we might get unfriended. We might get blocked. Heck, we might get killed. Well, we're all going to die someday. I'm just going to live every day like it's my last day. That's why I'm going live right now. Heck, I don't know if I'll make it off the beach to upload this video that I'm shooting with the P1000. I met Robert from the State Department out here. I've met Google executives out here. Yeah, yep, I can understand why there would be Google executives out here at this time of the day, right? Yeah, well, that one was here to see me. So there's serendipitous or choreographed, synchronized activity between individuals. I don't really believe in accidents per se, even what would appear to be a car accident. Why did it happen? Well, all the elements of that were there. The vehicles were there at that time. Were the people speeding? Well, maybe to get there just in that nick of time to be in that accident. Oh, there was a workplace accident. No, it was somebody doing something they shouldn't have been doing. Well, they didn't intend it. One of the reasons why there's a real stigma with illegal drugs. Oh, this or that person's on drugs. You can't trust them. No telling what they'll do. What I got to tell you is the pharmaceutical assault that was on me for a dozen years, I am so glad that is over, because they impaired my perspective more than many of the legal drugs like alcohol and yeah. Well, I mean illegal, like marijuana. I did some of the stupidest stuff ever on marijuana. It wasn't my best thinking, to be sure. Who knows what in the heck was in it anyway? It's always a bit of a mystery. Good morning. I've got stickers if you want.
I'm trying to read it.
Here you go. If you type it in a search, you can might find it interesting.
See what it is. All right.
All right, have a good one. You're on it right now. You'll see it when you get back if you want. Very good. Looking good. Walking in the clouds, man. Yeah, I could tell he was in my personal space, so he was trying to read my shirt, the small print. Okay, so many of us have seen the Neil deGrasse Tyson do the mic drop. This is gravity. Well, what I would say is, this is reality. What are you going to do with that? Well, I'll show you what I'll do with that. I'll say, does that even look possible? The upside down world? It looks really weird with the mirror that it is. So I created a category called memes. When a meme isn't enough, people are stubborn, they don't even know quite what to do with the new information. Well, take a look at this. We don't see this anywhere except in the imagination or in the memes that I'll create from time to time. How about at any angle? No, there's up and down, not upside down in relationship to one another. So is it eccentric to show a wind chime or a crystal bell or that at a conference? No, it's reality, man. It's just the way it is. I brought my crystal bell with me, and I'll probably show later, talk about it, ring that bell. That little clanger in there won't move unless I pick it up and shake it. A wind chime can't hang upside down. Show me, anybody, if you got any links of upside down wind chimes. That'd be just great. Hey Bob, how about we crank up the spinning water sphere model to brainwash humanity? Dang. I know, we'll put it in the beginning of a movie. Hey, how about all our movies? Hey, great idea. Let's put it in the Universal Studios logo. Wow, let's put it in a lot of logos like AT&T and Global Communications and all of that. If you're subscribing to a watchman on the wall who's exposing all the stuff and exposing the globalists at this point in human experience, and they're not exposing the global deception, well, they're part of it. They may not even know it. They may be deceived on that. They might not even be entirely human. I don't know. There's mind control automatons with, right now, neural lace is an interface with computer-brain interface. But for gosh sakes, when the doggone TV came out, there could be drool cups that people would wear, because I and many others would sit in front of the TV watching mindless garbage for hours. Stuff that has no bearing on reality. So it's not just that there would be subliminal messages, it's the system itself, the mind-controlled box that the television is, and then the computers and the handheld devices that are creating a cybernetic collective. Elon Musk doesn't always lie. Neither does NASA. When NASA is talking about in official documents fixed-wing aircraft flying over a stationary assumed level plane, well, that's important if you're going a couple thousand miles an hour. Otherwise, you're going to end up in space. However far you could go in that, I don't know. I don't know how far the dome is away. The firmament. So we've got weather up. Here comes Little River. Oop, there's, I can see a little bit of the sun popping through right there. That's hard light. Wow. That's what I'm talking about right there. It was just a little speck. So Job 37 says the sun is in the midst of the clouds. That works for me. I believe that. Joshua 10, God said that he stopped the sun. Joshua 10, God said that he stopped the sun from moving. That works for me. Because we're not on a spinning, wobbling water. We're not on a spinning, wobbling water sphere. We're on a stationary earth that's fixed, that doesn't move. That's the biblical proclamation. That's the reality of our world. Whether you like it and or agree with it or no, it looks like I might be back. But I'm going to keep going. Precipitation. Out of that we get the power generation from water seeking its level through turbines, dams and reservoir systems and nuclear power, coal, oil, gas, all water seeking its level because it's pressurized steam. Steam engines, locomotives, look at what's happened in 100 years. Absolutely amazing. This is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. I'm going for number 3 in just a moment. So what I've got to do is drop this battery. I can only go 27 minutes or so with the battery. I should say with my 30 frames per second recording. And I could have, well, it just works best with this camera. Otherwise, I don't have the zoom feature and the clarity. Okay, this is Robert Forsch with part 3 of the sunrise today, showing beautiful crepuscular rays punching through the clouds. The sun is in the midst of the clouds, as Job 37 proclaims. Joshua 10, God's word says that he stopped the sun from moving because we're not on a giant water sphere spinning. Now, the earth is stationary and doesn't move, and the sun and the moon and stars are close, they're local. Sun came up over real close to the middle of the view there. In the winter, it comes up way over there. I've got video evidence of that. You can see it if you care to. People come from all over the world to enjoy this. This year we're expecting about 20 million guests. We're well through half of the year. In this recording, we should get to see together the sun punch through the clouds. I had an opportunity to capture a video of this a few years ago that went viral. It's approaching 1 million views now. And it's called, that's why I hashtag local sun. I've got many occurrences of it appearing to be in the clouds. And I know that some will say it's an amusing illusion. Oh well, believe whatever you want. That's how it appears to me. And that's what Scripture says. So there's a lot of people that are clinging to their godless cosmic Big Bang, and quite frankly, they're a bit put off that I'm exposing the reality of the world we live in, although they may see it as a deception. By irony and paradox, the deceived don't know they're deceived. Satan is a defeated foe. His children are going there right with him. Satan's children get to spend an eternity with their father, Satan. Isn't that special? So there's only a limited amount of time we have to interact with those bastards. And then they're going to go away. They're going to be in a different area forever. And when I say bastards, I mean they're compromised, they're corrupt, they're corrupted. There's the sun. Depending on the cloud consistency, I can see it better than other times. And I show it when I can. It's just beautiful. The promise of a new day. God's grace is only for his children. Yeah, limited grace. However, if you're interested in knowing more about this, yeah, you might have been an atheist for a good part of your life. You may be one now. Well, I was. And then I saw the reality of God in this world. And so I thought I was born again in 1982, until I actually was in 2014. A long delay on that. I had to go all the way to the top to find out why. Here I thought it was hip, cool surfer dude pastors with a weak message. Well, that was part of it. They were just saying what my itching ears wanted to hear. Huh, that sounds familiar. God's grace is required to love and believe the truth, let alone find it. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 says to everybody forever, they refused to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. How about that? So people get to believe the lie they want to believe, and the all-powerful, all-knowing God will help them do that. Because they're not his children, they're Satan's children. All of God's children will be born of his spirit, God's spirit. We've got a structure above called the firmament. You can hashtag it, you can look it up, you can make it a thing if you want. You can research it. We were homeschooling parents in that time that I thought I was born again and wasn't. I worked at a full ministry, Rawhide Boys Ranch in New London, Wisconsin. Led men's groups at a mega church, Christ the Rock Community Church in Appleton, Wisconsin. Some of my friends probably aren't paying attention to me there. I haven't heard much from that group of people. It doesn't fit their paradigm. The biblical cosmology, I was told by the pastor at that time there that I should get back on medication because I'm talking about too many conspiracies, and he was concerned. Well, unfortunately, like I told him, I said, you know, the medications made me suicidal and homicidal. That's why I won't take them. Now that I'm born again, I don't need them. Unfortunately, he had a bout with depression, got on medications, and killed himself with a gun. Yeah. So it happens. A lot of people die around pharmaceuticals. Hey, you're on right now. And that's part of the dynamic here too, is that when I go live on YouTube and I'm wearing the YouTube shirt, people can see themselves on here if they want to. And maybe they'll find more. See, because I don't know all these individuals' circumstances. Now, the church had a lot of members that went there, and their perspective of psychology and all that had more to do with different types of treatment. A lot of what's wearing the face of modern Christianity involves the belief that pharmaceuticals are a useful resource, and I would say, well, they're toxic and they're potentially fatal for friends and family and the individual. Now, the God that I serve and whose I am and who lives in and through me, he doesn't need those. So Romans chapter 14, when the Apostle Paul was inspired by God to write his letter to the Romans, well, the discussion of to eat meat or drink wine, well, anything that's not of faith is sin. Anything. So you've got to have an active, functioning conscience. So when I was a walking dead man and didn't know it, my conscience wasn't working. I was impaired by medications that so clouded my perspective. Yeah, I was messed up. And then to add to that, drugs and alcohol, marijuana, alcohol, not healthy. I don't need them. God doesn't need those to help me do what I need to do. So rather than, I'm not on even blood pressure or medications of that nature, of any nature. So what I do is I put in healthy nutrients and I bathe in drinking water. Reverse osmosis, carbon filtered. I'm on a perpetual detox. I'll add a little bit of baking soda and Epsom salt and coconut oil. A cup of each, and then a quarter cup of the coconut oil. Good for the skin, hair, nails, all of that. And the brain. Coconut oil is a brain food. You can research it if you want. So when the sun is at this elevation, and I'm about a 5'11" guy, and I'm pointed directly at the sun, that's what the sun does. The way it shoots the light beams in a spherical, or the point of origin being the light source, it comes out uniformly. It's just beautiful. So eating what I have for my diet, even though I like a variety of foods. Ooh, there the sun is right there. Wow. Right in the midst of the clouds, obviously. So I liquefy. I don't juice it. I just pulverize it. I want the fiber in there. Spinach, kale, chia seed, hemp hearts, broccoli, mixed berries, bananas, apple cider vinegar, honey, strawberries, all kinds of goodies. Anything else I want to add to that. There you go. God inspired James to write, if we faith without works is dead. That's pretty commonly known and true. It's all, God's word is all true. He's the embodiment of truth. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, the living word, the great I am, the Alpha and Omega, the living water. So he also says if we don't do the good that we know we ought to, we sin. So if I were to just hit the snooze button and sleep in today, well, you wouldn't be looking at this. Now, on our friends and family that aren't awake yet, God may have hit the snooze button for them for a purpose that's beyond our pleasure. It might be a catalyst that motivates us to do what we do. I've got a lot of opposition in my life to what I'm doing. I just want you to be aware of that. I'm sure many of you are aware that it can be difficult. So the zoomed in version is going to be very spectacular, very different. And I'll have 3 of those so far, maybe another one today. So on my liked videos, I cover a wide variety of topics. The veritable virtual kaleidoscope of conspiracies, the actual conspiracies as best I can tell. In the mix and in the midst of all that, you're going to find deception. The art of deception is complicated. It's intermingled with certain percentages of truth. That's what makes it deception. Most of us believed the Santa deception, the Santa Claus lie. I was 7 years old when I got hip to the fact that that was a lie. And then I was presented the moon landing hoax, same year. Same year I found out Santa was a lie, then NASA was lying to me and I didn't know it. I bought it hook, line, and sinker, just like the flying freaking reindeer, figuring gonna have Santa either deliver me a lump of coal or my wish list. How about that? Did you buy the Santa lies? I did. And it was a lie more than to help children enjoy fantasy. It was to trick and deceive family, friends, to deceive others. A very elaborate deception. Okay, so now a pretty good sized ship is coming out, and I'm going to show you. We can't see through much water. So when ships appear to vanish over the horizon, it's a perspective and vantage point issue. That's all. Yeah, there's laws of perspective. Joe Rogan evidently didn't think so. They were giving Johnny Bravo a hard time. Anyway, I'll hashtag some of the celebrities' names. I may be on a show sometime. I don't know. I've sent my stuff to the Joe Rogan Experience. Let them chew on that for a was a hoax. Did they take that bald head of yours in for reprogramming or what? Who knows? Is that the original Joe Rogan or a clone with a different processor? We don't know. Dolly the sheep wasn't the only animal clone. You got to know that. Oprah had pets cloned. We don't know what we don't know, and I'm not going to be storming Area 51. That's stupid. That event would never get that amount of traction if the system didn't want it to happen or to be a red herring or a distraction from other issues. It's all theater. The political events, so much of which are simply theater. The governments are selected, not elected. It's the illusion of choice. And I believe salvation is as well. It's the illusion of choice. I was given an offer I couldn't refuse. Yeah, I didn't want to refuse it. So when I looked in the mirror and I saw an active alcoholic and drug addict struggling, well, I wanted to know why. What's up with that? I thought I was supposed to be free from all that stuff. Well, I was a walking dead man and didn't know it. Then I was born again, given a love for the truth, made aware of a whole bunch of what's going on in the world, and now I get to expose it, as well as the gospel. I haven't abandoned my primary mission of sharing God's word to the ends of the earth around the clock. I do it every day. It's happening right now. People watching my videos. I've got an audio Bible merged with the beauty of creation. Right out here, you can see it. And all around, points in between. From here to Wisconsin, from here to Colorado, I did some. To do some of the time lapse that I've done, I think the longest day I ever spent out here was about 19 hours on the sand. Yeah, let's go to the beach. Yeah, oh, it must be nice to go. I love it. I love what I do. I'm not looking for sympathy. I love to do this. I get to. So I've been given a passion, purpose, and eternal perspective and the power to do what I previously could not do before. It's humanly impossible to obey God's word biblically because the Holy Spirit needs to do in and through us what we can't do. If we didn't need to have the power and presence of the Spirit, God wouldn't have worked it out that way. If this is all crazy and foolishness to you, it either might be not your time, or you might not be one of the Creator's children. You might not be one of God's children. He also goes by Yahweh. YHWH. You can hashtag that. You can seek the truth with all your heart because it matters for eternity. Where will you spend it and why? So sin isn't God punishing me. When I sin, it's not necessarily God punishing me. It's me punishing me, subjecting myself to willful disobedience that God knows better. So I would just rather delight myself in the Lord, in all my ways acknowledge Him, and He gives me the desires of my heart. He puts them there for Him to accomplish in and through me. That's truly amazing. And it's not unusual for me to get 1,000, maybe 1,500 notifications in a day. So, and those include people mentioning me, or I just can't stay up on all of it. It's just not possible. So if you've been encouraging and I haven't acknowledged it, I haven't loved the comment, well, consider all your support and encouragement loved and appreciated greatly. I do. Sometimes I'll weigh in on some posts, but a lot of times I can't because I don't even know about them or where they are. The high tide line is where the water stopped. It's just the way it works. Higher is drier and lower is wetter. All over the stationary level Earth. There'd be no level anywhere if the Earth was moving. You can take a bubble level, put it on your counter, put it on wherever you want. If it's not moving, the bubble will just stay there. And that's the way it is. Walter Cronkite used to say that when he was done presenting his message from the New World Order. He was an insider, as best I can tell, or he was deceived. And that's the way it is. Oh well, that's what he said for the moon landing hoax. That's the way it is. Said that a lot, and that's the way it is. No, that's the way they want you to see it. I'm wanting to expose the reality. I've had some different videos showing people and me walking through the light beam. It's very interesting. See, we get the reflections facing us and the shadows facing to the left. That's just the way it is. And that's the way it is. This is reality. So a lot of people don't see it because they don't live here, or even here. Now I'm feeling the light beam coming up off of the water and coming down from it is like so intense. I'm all lit up. Wow. That's why I went to start wearing sunglasses again, because yeah, I should have brought them, but oh well. The sun seems more intense now. So it came up here at about 58 degrees or so northeast, and then it's going to set in the middle of the view over there, like around 300 degrees northwest from this vantage point. So it's clearly not a directly east-west move. From there over to there. That means that the self-enthroned experts of a godless religion of atheism that NASA is promoting, Satan is promoting it. How about that? NASA lies, Santa lies, Satan lies. I've hashtagged all of that. I want people to get the neurolinguistic connection between that whole deal and the fact that, yeah, we can be deceived. We have been. I have been. By irony and paradox, I could be deceived right now about something. So now it's dimming a bit. You can see that. When we get a heavier band of clouds like that, that's even the weather modified clouds, weather wars, They are energizing the air around us, the atmosphere, and can bounce signals off of the firmament. It's a structure. You can read about it in Genesis if you care to. So satellites, as we're told, don't exist. There are systems that are called satellites that project energy onto the firmament that we can receive reception. So receiving a signal is just having a signal bounced off of the firmament, and it's directed at that area that it can receive it. That's all. I'm zoomed in pretty tight on the sun right now. And if you're wondering why I would mention something so obvious, well, if you're watching it zoomed in, just know I've got a live YouTube broadcast going on as well. I would like people to explore my content. Please consider this. We get recommended videos based on a variety of algorithms. Some of them had to do with our previous search history. Some of it has to do with who we are in the world and what the AI wants to have us consider. And then there's the wonderful reality that God is still sovereign and in charge. With that as the backdrop to what I'm going to say, please explore my channel, my liked video playlist, and seek the truth with all your heart, because it matters for eternity. This is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. If you want YouTube Truth stickers, you can send a self-addressed stamped envelope to 169 Cloverleaf Drive, Longs, South Carolina, 29568. If you should like to call me, my anytime phone number is 1-843-504-1776. Thank you so much for your public and private encouragement. Feel free to reach out anytime.